Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I recently went on Marketplace and picked up this '04 LS1 out of a GTO. Supposedly has 68,000 miles on it. We're going to check out the bores and the bearings to make sure she's good to go. And if everything checks out correctly, we're going to be installing this Summit Pro LS camshaft. So come along, let's get her done. Here is the cam kit I got from Summit. I went with the Summit Pro LS. It is a part number 8707R1. So here's the spec sheet on that. It's a 113 LSA, 600 lift, 226, 238 exhaust. So we got the cam, we got our gaskets and O-rings and everything like that. A new crank bolt, oil pan O-rings, oil pickup O-rings, new oil pump, some trick flow valve springs. And I went online and picked up a couple tools that will help us out to swap out the valve springs. All right, first things first, we're gonna pull off the water pump, coils, valve covers. I'm gonna pull the spark plugs out also just to check the condition of the cylinder walls. So let's get that done. Also, a quick little tech tip here. I'm a big fan of using electric impacts and everything like that, but on spark plugs, you're gonna wanna get them all broke loose by hand. If not, you can crack your spark plugs and they'll just ruin them. All right, we're gonna move on to the trick flow valve springs. We're gonna use this compressor here, the spring compressor. There's a little spacer underneath here. These two bolts go into where the rockers sit, and then this is what compresses your springs. So I've got compressed air going into the cylinder to keep the valves up. Now we are going to start these in by hand. These are all slotted too, so you can move them side to side. Just get them centered on each one, on each valve spring there. Then we can run them in. Okay, so I got those tight on here. We're still loose on here, and we are centered. So we're gonna go ahead and tighten this nut down. We're gonna compress the springs. So they compress a little bit like that. You take a little hammer. Okay, that one popped up. See the condition of these cylinder walls, see if we got any cross hatching. I picked up this really cheap Amazon bore scope, so let's see how she does. I'll take a video here. Okay, we're going in. What do we see? Top of the piston, she's all the way up there. Let's try this one. Oh yeah. A little bit of carbon buildup on the piston, but I can still see cross hatching. Oh yeah, look at that. That's some really good cross hatching. Let me change the camera here. There's the valve. Rotate them around. Oh yeah, look at that cross hatching. That looks really good. I say we got lucky here, I think, and got ourselves an actually good marketplace engine. That'll be a first for me. All right, next step is let's get this water pump out. You have 6 bolts on it. You're gonna want to dump coolant pretty much everywhere. That'll be good for your floor. Keep it nice and clean. Yeah, right there. That's fine. Set that guy right there. I'm gonna leave the bolts in there, so be able to keep that guy there. Now we got to get our coolant covered impact, the big one, and try to get this crank bolt out. I just used a breaker bar and a big cheater bar, and got her broke loose, so get that guy out of there. Here's my setup to get the crank off. I'm using a 3-jaw puller here. They do make a LS specific one, but I don't have that. This is what we have here. You just want to make sure you grab on the inside of the balancer instead of the outside, so you don't damage anything there. So let's try to pull this off. Oh, we gotta adjust our impact here. Okay, there we go. So we have these bolts here, and then don't forget the bottom ones that go through the pan. If you don't, you'll mess them up, so. Here's a better look. There's your top dot there, and there's your bottom dot there. Just gonna line those up before we pull this thing off. So I went ahead and pulled my oil pan. The oil looked really good. It looked brand new, so that's a good sign. I have to get a LS swap oil pan, but if you're just doing a cam swap, that doesn't really apply to you. So you gotta get your pickup tube out of the way, and then we're gonna pull off our oil pump here. Slides directly on like that. Just go ahead and make a mess all over the floor, doesn't matter. And then you're gonna take your 3 bolts out of your cam, and it's gonna slide directly towards you off of the dowel pin there. And then also double check, keep her lined up there. Okay. I'm gonna set this guy aside, and then we're about ready to pull our cam. Once you get that guy off, you take out the cam retaining plate, and we're gonna spin the cam around to push the lifters up into the trays. And I'm gonna use a couple of dowel rods, 5/16 size, shove them through there just to make sure that the lifters don't come down on us. Okay, we got our 5/16 dowel rods handy. We're going to spin the cam about 10 times just to get those lifters up into their trays. Let's see if that worked there. I'm gonna use the other end. Doesn't have a sticker on it. All right, that looks like it's all the way in the back of the motor there. Now we can go ahead and pull out our cam. Okay, we got our new Summit cam here. We're gonna lube this up very liberally with engine assembly lube. So just gonna put a bunch of it on there. I'll rub it in, all the lobes, mating surfaces and everything. The old cam looked good, the bearings look great, so we're gonna go ahead and just reuse them. Typical sloppy cam swap. And we're gonna use the water pump bolts to install this. So let's go ahead and get it all lubed up here. All right, we're all the way in with the new cam. Okay, before we proceed with anything else, I'm gonna put the cam retaining plate on just to make sure, I don't know, just to make sure that the cam doesn't come out of there. We're just gonna slide her on right there. Keep that guy held in, drop all of your bolts, perfect. Oh yeah. All right, valve springs and seals are in. Next step, we're gonna make sure we're still at top dead center on number 1, and our crank dot is pointed up. And then I just slid on the cam gear with the dot pointed down. At this one, they should be straight in line. Goes on this dowel here, and from there, we're just gonna go ahead and get our 3 cam bolts started in there. Then we will torque those down. The crank bolt, just the old one here, just gonna spin it around all the way and make sure our crank dots still line up after a full rotation. And right there, yep, looks like we're good to go. You got the oil pump on after the cam gear. Those are all torqued down. After that, I just went ahead and put on my rockers. I spun them around until basically spin the engine around. You'll see the rocker go down. When it starts to go back up and then it stops going up, you torque it to 22 foot-pounds, and you can do that on all of them. So next I'm gonna do the front cover. And I got my razor blade scraper, went around that whole thing. So go ahead and grab the front cover. I put a new gasket behind it and a new seal in the front. We will oil that up after this. So we're just gonna get these started. Okay, I'm gonna leave those all loose. I better take the old crank bolt out. I was using that to spin the engine around. So then I'm gonna grab a little bit of oil, wipe off the inside of the seal, like oil right around in there, and then I will press on the harmonic balancer. Okay, with your new crank bolt in, I read to torque it down to 37 foot-pounds and then 140 degrees past that 37 foot-pounds. Next up, I'm going to install my valve covers with new O-ring gaskets, and then I will throw my coil packs and throw plugs in it, and that'll be it for me. So, all right guys, she's all back together. Can't wait to hear this thing chop. It's gonna be a lot of fun in my 67. Thanks for coming along with me. Like, share, and subscribe.